Welcome everyone back to another episode of Top 5. If this is your first time watching, the Top 5 show is designed to bring industry experts from around the real estate and business world together in a place where they can share their top 5 best practices on a particular subject. We want to make these easily digestible, really simple to use things that you can put into your business today to help you grow and build a better business. So, I am really fortunate to have a great guest today in Matt Fagioli, who is coming to us from what appears to be a beautiful day in Atlanta, Georgia. And for those of y'all who don't know Matt, Matt is the founder and CEO of Xplode Conferences that travel the country. So Matt, welcome to the show. Glad that you're here.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Doing great. So I thought it would be a really great perspective to have you on the show because for the last 15 years, is that right?
Something like that.
Yep. So about the last 15 years, you've been traveling the country, interacting with thousands upon thousands of realtors, hearing speeches from some of the best speakers on the circuit, some of the brightest minds in real estate. And so you're like the Encyclopedia Britannica of what's going on in the real estate industry, right? So I figured let's get him on and let's get his top 5 things from his experience being around realtors forever. And so you've kind of distilled that into a list of the top 5 things that an agent should be doing now to help build in 2021, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're right. So Xplode's 10 years old, but I've been traveling, doing other conferences, doing conferences in general for almost 15 years. And so the beautiful thing about that is that I'm smart enough to know that I'm not that smart, but the 100,000 people that I've met are, and I've learned something from almost all those people. And so, I think I have a really unique, have had a unique opportunity to meet so many people. So there's not a whole lot that's happening in real estate that I don't have some sense of. So,
right, that's awesome.
So I thought what would be great is to talk about the top 5 ways to set yourself up for growth in 2021. And the good news and the bad news is that there's no secret, right? The 5 things that we're going to talk about are very fundamental, but hopefully we can add some insight that that people hadn't thought about, or get people to think about it a little different way.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a silver bullet, we'd all be using it, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I guess to play on that for a second, of all those 100,000 people that I've met, there's not 100,000 ways, but there might be 10,000 ways to be successful in real estate and life. And but these fundamental things underlie all of that. But you meet people that are great at for sale by owner. You meet people that are great at listing, farming. I mean, there's a million different ways to skin the cat. But there's underlying fundamentals.
Awesome.
And this, Chance, I think, but I'm also an independent broker in Atlanta. We have a relatively new brokerage. It's just a year old. So a new venture bringing together a partnership of some really talented people. But we've spent a lot of time talking to new agents and, helping them set up their business. And so that has even more just sort of, crystallized, this is the stuff, right? So the first thing that, every agent learns or should learn when they get into business is about their sphere of influence. We call that top 100, because I find most people, struggle to really have 100 great contacts.
Right. It's tough to be everything to everybody when you've got 2,000 people in a database. And it's great that you've got 2,000 people in a database, but who are the people who are really likely going to be the ones that send you a referral?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the polar opposite. You just get in real estate and you go, I only know 20 people or whatever it is. But we try to focus people in on getting really dialed in on 100 people. And so this is just as big of a challenge, though, for really successful agents. That's the thing that blew me away teaching at Xplode Conferences. I would challenge audiences to go, there's 500 people in the audience. Who could come up here right now and show me a valid spreadsheet with updated information on it, cell phone, email, home address, birthday, all that stuff for 100 people that you validated that data in the last 90 days, raise your hand. And guess what? Not too many people have ever raised their hand.
Right.
And so I think even if you're 20 years in the business, if you want to crush in 21, guess what? Go back to basics. It's like when you start losing football games, right? They always talk about, all right, we're just going to go back to blocking and tackling, and start over. And so having that top 100 list is just a big, huge deal, because then once you have the data, then you can really be effective with that list. And do simple things that nobody talks about. Like one of the favorite things I learned from one of my 100,000 people was running Facebook ads, just targeting those 100 people, so that you just crush Facebook and Instagram for those 100 people. So when you run into those 100 people, they're like, oh my God, you're everywhere, because they think you're targeting 50,000 people.
Right.
So you got these cheap ads for 100 people. So anyway,
most people doing Facebook ads wouldn't really think about that, because they think about it as, let's go capture new business and new prospecting and leads, and not hit the people who already know, like, and trust us. But it just gives you that added street cred.
Yeah, well, these micro audiences, I think, was a big thing that I learned. It's a different 100,000 person, but all of these micro audiences, like, so for example, a listing appointment you're going to go on next week, is like, dial the audience down as tightly as Facebook will allow you to dial it down, so that you're basically, all you're doing is just trying to target that house.
Right.
So that they see you every 5 seconds from now to the listing appointment, stuff like that. We're on a coaching call for a brokerage, us being coached, and those guys were talking about targeting all the agents in the brokerage for the similar reason, get likes and shares from people, stuff like that. So anyway, so that's number one. So crush top 100, and then use that data in a really powerful way. So number two is something I call Dreamcast. And Dreamcast starts with top 100. You got to have the top 100 first, because the Dreamcast is a simple one-page spreadsheet that lists out those 100 people. So left-hand column A is those 100 people. And then across the top is January through December. And then you're going to go through and create that spreadsheet, and you're going to just put a dollar value next to each of those 100 people, taking a random guess there's no accountability here. You don't care how big the number is. It's just, hey, I think Bill's going to buy a house in August, and it's going to be a $400,000 house. My coach is going to be 12 grand, blah, blah. I'm going to put 12 grand in August under Bill. Do that for 100 people, and you don't overthink it. You just throw a number in. I think I'm going to get a referral from Sally. I think this guy's worth $1,000. I think, whatever it is, you put all the numbers in. And at the end of that spreadsheet, you're going to have a monstrous number that, and for almost everybody, it will be 7 to 8 figures.
Right.
And but then you take that, you refine it down, to make it more accurate, day over day, month over month, you make it more and more and more accurate. But now you've got a single page that every day, all you do is get up and look at that page. And now, you know what, that'll define everything you need to do, because you're going to go, you know what, I forgot about Bill in August. I need to send him listings. I need to take him to lunch. I need whatever it is. And if all you did was literally manage that one page and those 100 people, so you see these people run ads that are like, hey, I could double your business, with my coaching or whatever. Like, literally take the 2 minutes of what you just heard on this video, do that, and you'll double your business.
Yes.
Anyway.
And it's almost like having a vision board for your money, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, I want to buy this stuff, or this is what's driving my why, but this is my vision board for my income in the next year.
Yeah. Well, so bring that back down to now, right? So once you've built that, you're managing that spreadsheet. So now we're going into October. So now you've got that so dialed in that October is basically closings that are, like, here's all the stuff that's going to close, right? So I'm going to make X in October, and here's the numbers. So when I get up in the morning, I look at October and I go, oh, I got to do, that's supposed to happen. Like, I got to literally, drills it all down, but also the stuff that's 9 months, 12 months out, you don't forget about it and go, you know what, I better take Bill to lunch and talk about his goals because he said he wanted to do this and, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway,
you know, I think that one of the things that is a plague, and this is not a real estate industry issue, this is a sales industry issue, is, you know, and if you've ever read the book 12-Week Year, it's kind of that where, hey, you know, I set this goal that I want to sell 50 homes in 2021 or 100 homes or whatever that number looks like. And, you know, maybe I get through the first quarter and I've got 1 or 2, but I'm pretty far behind. But you know what? It's fine. I've got 9 more months. And then you get to 6 months and yeah, I need to play a little catch up. And then in the last 3 or 4 months, you work your ass off, you make a bunch of money, and you're just like, well, what if you just worked your ass off for all 12 months? And so that Dreamcast board kind of keeps you on track of, I need to be doing this every single month in order to make that 7-8 figure number, which is a realistic number as if you do the work.
Yeah, well, and even if you like back to Gary, you know, I consider the Millionaire Real Estate Agent to be like the Bible of real estate, and he talks about, you know, if you aim high, you miss a little bit, you still have a huge number, and
exactly,
in lots of markets, Atlanta included, you know, 250,000 ish is kind of average selling price, and so you start using that as a calculator. Well, 100 deals of that is, you know, $750,000. So why aren't way more agents approaching that number? And I think it's just a question of, you know, boiling it down to focus and a way to manage it. So Dreamcast for me, which is something I learned 20 years ago in just a regular sales role, outside of real estate, it's just so much to me, and it's what every day, that's what I do, is what I look at. So
that's awesome.
Okay, so number 3, another shoe drop, is control your schedule. And no one, again, like room full of 500 people, raise your hand if you could show me a schedule that looks like this. I lead generate in the morning. Before I lead generate, I have my personal time. Then I lead generate in the morning. Then I have specific times that I set appointments with client, you know, some kind of real structure that they actually stick to. 2 out of 500.
Right.
And it's because everybody undervalues it, right? They go, oh, that sounds really cool when I'm sitting in the conference, but I can't execute.
Yeah. So I will tell you, you know, when we train here and we talk about scheduling, we really kind of try to focus on the whole time blocking aspect, because, you know, the reality is, let's say I'm going to spend my time prospecting in the morning, and I call you and you say, hey, you know what? Actually, there was a home that just came up on my neighborhood. I'd like to go see it. Nobody in their right mind is going to say, you know what? I'm in my prospecting block right now, so I can see clients this afternoon, right? You're going to jump in the car and you're going to go over and show the house, or most agents are going to jump in the car and go show the house. And so the flexibility of time blocking and being able to move those blocks. Okay, now I have to do a little bit of that client time in the afternoon because I put some of that showing time up in the morning, and being able to move that in. It's just making sure that all the blocks get done, right?
Well, I guess that's one way to look at it. And, you know, on our podcast, we interviewed Ricky Carruth, and Ricky said he does it 3 days a week. So there's plenty of other time where, like, if something happened on Thursday, he can still roll that time, that lead generation block into Friday. And so, and Nakia, my partner in the brokerage, talks to agents about 30 minutes a day. Like, anybody can do 30 minutes a day. And then when it becomes 3 hours, you know, that's another thing, you know.
Yeah, I think Tom Ferry's is the, you know, the hour of power, or whatever it is, power hour, you know, whatever that looks like, but it just has to happen.
Yeah. Well, and I do think, though, that I think everybody can reach a point of discipline in their career where they don't break it. You know, I really almost never break mine ever. And it's hard, right? Because you have to say no to stuff.
Right.
Or refer that client. If the client's got to go right now, you know, literally refer them out, because there's so much value in the rhythm and the consistency. And the thing is, you can never appreciate that until you actually execute the consistency for a while. And actually, I kind of jumped ahead, because that's the next point is the consistency trumps everything.
Yes. Amen.
And you can never really believe that in your heart and in your mind until you try it for a month and go, oh crap, I did whatever the thing is every single day for 30 days, and life is different because X. And it doesn't matter if that thing was, I'm gonna breathe, I'm gonna meditate for 5 minutes a day for 30 days,
Right.
whatever the thing is. And so we always talk to agents about it's a new month. Here we are. It's first of the month. Pick anything. I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes a day. I'm going to give out 2 business cards a day for 30 days. Like who can't, people always try to bite off too much. Let me give out 50 business cards,
Right.
But anyway, so this consistency thing is just unbelievable.
Yeah. So we always harp on, none of the stuff that makes somebody successful in real estate is sexy, and the tendency for agents is to focus on the sexy stuff. I need to have this killer website, and I need to have this and that and whatever else. And the reality is it's these few daily disciplines that are just repeated over time, consistently. You just do it. And it just becomes habit. Like you said, rhythm. And we talk a lot about that here is, going all the way back to the Rockefeller habits from, 100 years ago, that building that communication rhythm and building that rhythm in your life is what really helps just make sure that all those little daily disciplines happen every single day.
Yeah. And starting with little teeny pieces that you can get, 5 minutes that you can get your head around. And then once you win it, like it's better to win something for 30 days at 5 minutes than to do it for 10 minutes and lose, or have it be inconsistent. That's the magic that people have to get to, is pick something, do it for 5 minutes, do it for 30 days. Then, once you've shown yourself, oh, I can do it, and not fail.
Yeah. And I think, I think that motto right there could be applied to just about everything. When we talk about our business, is everybody wants to come in and, I'm going to go door knock and I'm going to go do this and I'm going to call it expireds and FISBOs and whatever else. And let's just focus on the stuff that you're really good at right now. And then let's gradually expand your comfort zone and build on those things. But let's focus on getting some wins under our belt early. And then that just kind of snowballs, right? Success breeds success.
Yeah.
But absolutely. The tendency is also opposite of that failure oftentimes breeds more failure. And so we got to be careful in protecting that.
Well, and that was a great segue too. So number 5 is protect your spirit. And so real estate is hard, right? You just started on it there. Like we get beat, we get abused, clients are tough, things are hard. What I also find is that most people, and realtors for sure, are not spending much, if any, time really controlling their spirit, controlling their mind. And the first step of that I learned from one of my 100,000 friends is that yesterday is over, and you can't carry it into today. But I think what took me a long time to figure out about that I think might be helpful to people is that's one of those 1,000 things that's really easy to say and hard to execute. And what happens is I think that we all don't necessarily recognize what we're doing when we get up in the morning and we are replaying yesterday in our mind, and all of a sudden, like, oh, the tension's coming back, and like, Chance is such a jerk and he said blah, and I'm going to replay that in my mind and get pissed at him all over again. And, versus like, oh, I'm not going to allow that.
Right. Yeah. And, I think a lot of it has to do with what's your morning routine. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a real world example. Yesterday, my daughter has to get up at 0:30 to go to school. It's ridiculous how early she has to get up. And I'm not a morning person, but she slept through her alarm yesterday. And so our morning yesterday was a little panicked. And if you don't stop that and, hey, it's okay. People sleep through their alarms sometimes. Let's get our stuff. Let's get to school. And we got her to school on time. But, it started out as this high drama setting, and that will extend the whole day if that's the first thing that you're experiencing, right? Yeah. So it's having that routine in the morning where you get up, whether it's just sitting there and having a cup of coffee and reading a little bit, or like you said, meditating, having something, going through the Miracle Morning stuff or any of that. it's really just kicking your day off with that right mindset.
Mhm. Yeah, and catching it when it, because especially for people that listen to this that really aren't winning that or trying to win that anew, it's just catching yourself and like knowing we all get up trying to think, be positive, I'm going down this road, and we all get derailed by our thoughts. And it's not like, don't kick yourself in the head for that. Just get back. Hey, hold on, I realize I'm off track. Get back on track and get back into it and improve that habit day after day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because it's easy to get off, and you can't beat yourself up over it. You just got to say,
Yeah.
hey, you're human. Now come back and let's try to refocus.
So isn't it funny how all that stuff is just so fundamental? And after 10 years and 100,000 people, that's the stuff that I think is, absolutely the most important stuff.
It is. And it's the stuff that it's hard. It's not easy. None of the things that you just said are simple. They seem simple, but they're not when you actually go to executing them and building habits and making it consistent. And the stuff that doesn't really make people money is the stuff that's easy.
Yeah, that's right. But that's not what lasts. That's not what builds, consistent life. And,
right.
Everybody talks about how do I get that life that I want that just feels rock solid. And it's these rhythms, that's what Miracle Morning you keep mentioning. It's a great book. And, but so many others like that are trying to get through is that it's not the one win. It's not, any single thing. It's this life rhythm of this is what I do every day and how I do it. And lots of business gets in the way or shows up in my routine. Right. Anyway.
Yeah, no. And that's, people call it being in the zone or being in the, having the flow or whatever you want to call it. And, we've been reading a couple of books here in our book club about this kind of thing. And there's a lot of science going on to rhythm and flow right now. A lot of neuroscience and books being written. And it's easier to manage than most people think. They just have to be really, really aware. And that's tough.
Yeah, well, but it's, it's funny. This is all kind of wrapped up in a little bow, but it's that pick a habit that's 5 minutes, that's something you're going to execute for 5 minutes a day. It's the first of the month. Pick it and set it for 30 days. I'm going to do this one thing for 5 minutes for 30 days. Recognize at the end of if once you've executed that, recognize what that did in your life, and then add one more thing. And imagine over the course of a year how many things you could implement that you do every day for 30 days and then 12 months and whatever, and the massive impact it would have on your life, just 5 minutes.
Right. It's that progress, not perfection.
Yeah, that's right.
And that, just like compound interest or just like anything else, that just kind of adds up over time. And if you can just do those little things, it's how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's it, man.
Yeah. That awesome.
Cool.
Anything else you want to?
No, thank you for having me. And I hope that those things are useful. I know those are really fundamental, but I think the bit of time I've spent in with karate in the past, you learn that it's just about constantly getting better at these fundamental things. Yep. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. Thank you, Matt, for being on the show today. We really do appreciate you. And beyond just being on the show, we appreciate what you do for the industry, because Xplode is a huge part of getting people in a place where they can get better. And so thank you for that. Thank you for you watching today. And we hope that you're able to take these 5 tips that Matt's given and put them in your business, help you have a long-term, sustainable, profitable business. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Top 5.